Alright, ladies and gentlemen, I am so happy to finally say I am getting to doing this. An album and vinyl record I have yet to review. I am super excited to bring you today the long overdue vinyl review of Deep Fantasy by Australian duo Surfing. An unforgettable 2012 album praised, and deservingly so, for its courageous blend of haunting vocals, ethereal composition, and just groovy instrumentation. Before I get into the video, I just want to let you know that I will actually be giving this exact vinyl away you'll see in this video in a giveaway for any $5 or higher patron to my Patreon page. I'm going to leave a link in the description of this video to my Patreon page. Becoming a patron not only gives you a chance at winning this record and also gaining access to the many other exclusive Pat Chennington Patreon rewards, but it also helps me continue the channel and do what I love doing. So anyway, you ever go to a public pool as the sun's going down? That ripe opportunity where the pool isn't packed with people welcoming to you and only you as the cheaply maintained chlorine-infested pool water reflects that tired sun. You know what I'm talking about. You open that creaky gate to the pool, you're walking on that concrete flooring that has finally cooled off after a long, hot summer day. There's fireflies hanging out just feet away from you as you try to catch a couple of them. And you don't think you've ever seen the water look so calm before, a straight-up bowl of soup that's yours for the taking. Finally, your quaint first footstep into the water creates a ripple that somehow even reaches the deep end, and everything just looks incredible. You got that yellow, purpley, whatever sky in the background, and it's so quiet. Yeah, that's this album. That's literally what this album is. On Deep Fantasy, Surfing clearly looks up to 80s influence aesthetic and music styles dearly on this album. We see pinches and ripples of retro surf rock and laid-back melodies melted, filtered, and looped to give it that vapor touch we all love so dearly. Tracks sail through one another seamlessly, and keeping that consistent early morning summer sunrise atmosphere is nothing but a breeze for Surfing due to this very fluid sort of sound barrier. If you listen to the album, you'll get what I'm saying. Everything just feels like it's protected with this sticky, humid coating, a track list whose texture resembles that of some sort of liquid with a pretty damn high viscosity. And don't think this thing is just a slow, soupy boat ride through a yearly 1980s yacht meetup. Loud and splashy arena rock style drumming on tracks like Your Touch give this thing ambition, range, and a focus on creating tracks that truly have a backbone to them and aren't just a lazy puddle of water baking in the sun. Vocal leads are melodic, they're whiny, almost hopeless sounding, and sizzle perfectly on these tracks that are pretty inviting for some sort of lead or direction from another instrument, or in this case a vocal lead. We also see some pretty punchy guitar solos on this thing, a dragging and plucking jumble of notes that screech its way through verses and breaks. Deep Fantasy is also pretty unique in the fact that it combines sampling with live instrumentation, which I rarely see at all in Vaporwave. And what's even cooler is during a listen of the album, you might find yourself confused on what's a sample and what's actually being performed hands-on by Surfing themselves. I think this is extremely impressive as really nailing Vaporwave characteristics purely from how you mix and process your own instrumentation and blend it with another, already older, already dusty and aesthetic sample, and making them sound like they were just sampled together originally is a pretty tough thing to do. I like to look at Deep Fantasy as like a chameleon in a jungle of Vaporwave. The live instruments that blend into the trees and trees of other samples and countless loops. So yes, a must listen for any music goer, not just Vaporwave. It's very unique, very original. If you're a fan of artists like Beach Fossils, Washed Out, Mac DeMarco, Fake Laugh, even like Omar Apollo, I think you're really going to relate with this album and get a kick out of the originality Surfing brings to the table. But I'm gonna hold up. I'm gonna stop talking about the music itself because right now we're gonna get onto the physical pressing I have right here of the album. This is the 12-inch repress of the album on standard black, pressed by 100% Electronica at a run of 800 copies. The first 500 of these 800 copies were shrink wrapped, and the rest were distributed in a resealable poly sleeve. I did say repress as the original pressing for this record came in on a really cool looking transparent vinyl at a run of 400 copies, which sold out pretty damn quick, especially for 2016 Vaporwave vinyl records. I feel like back then no one really knew the severity of a lot of these pressings, even in like 2016, right? Because nowadays it seems like stuff is just dropping every 2 seconds, and if you're not locked and loaded, you're not going to pick it up. I'm talking about all my Late Night Delight and Neon City Records comrades out there. I'm praying for you guys. So the look and feel of this thing is pretty nice. It's got that fancy schmancy artwork, all nice and high res on the cover, looking like a display painting tempting in some discount furniture store your parents would drag you to for like 4 hours, where you were 8 years old, and like all they have to eat and drink in that thing is like a warm water cooler and like pretzels that are at the front counter that have been stale for like 7 months. The back of this thing is pretty cool too. Black matches the vinyl, and the tracklist has an interesting treatment on typography. The inner sticker of the vinyl dismisses the enchanting woman on the album art and just lays there as this calming beige circle with the tracks on side A and side B. The sound quality of the pressing is pretty interesting too. It's very muddy sounding, I'll tell you that much, and for almost any other case of a vinyl pressing, I'm sure we can agree on this that, like, that would be a bad thing, right? I felt that way about Dream Catalog's repress of Birth of a New Day by 2814, a vinyl pressing that at the time we were all dying for, but I feel like fell short of what it could have been sound quality wise. 2814's Birth of a New Day is just very high quality sounding. It's very, very atmospheric. It should be very grand and dynamic, and I felt it lacked that on the pressing. For this album though, and this pressing, that muddy, cruddy, washed out sound is already a main component of the track list originally. So if anything, it just oozes out more of that end of the summer habitat we're trying to travel to when listening to this album anyway. It is translated over very surprisingly well onto vinyl, and when it comes out of your system, you might find yourself accidentally checking if your speakers were recently left out in the rain. So, known for its lo-fi treatment, having a record that sounds like this intentionally is pretty okay with me. This pressing is wet, it's juicy, and I feel like if I try to interrupt it as it's playing and it's spinning, it'll leave me with a mosquito bite. I'm gonna let you spin, Deep Fantasy, because this heat seems to be getting to me. However, this could be kind of a buzzkill at times, as there are parts of the album I found to sound a bit hollow, where on the contrary, they were a little more prominent on the original digital version. For example, in the track Lifetime, there's that opening, glistening, shiny synth jingle thing that plays, and it seems to get drowned out in the rest of that wet, washed out texture that overlays the entirety of the pressing, where digitally it seemed to really stand apart from the swampy atmosphere everything else provided in the background. And I like that on the album from time to time, where something kind of crawls its way out of the moist lagoon of sounds, shines for a little, and then gets gulped right back in. On the vinyl, that's kind of dismissed. It's all just one sun-baked listen from start to finish, but hey, I was never someone who really needed a towel after they got out of the pool anyway, so I like to dry off in the sun. So surfing and 100% electronica, good job on the pressing, and I find myself spinning it still pretty regularly. Thanks everyone, and thanks for watching, and as I mentioned in the beginning of this video, I hope you check my Patreon page out, especially if you want to win this thing, and remember, it's for $5 patrons and higher only, so good luck, and thank you guys for checking not just the Patreon page out, but the YouTube channel out in general, and I love having you guys here. Thank you guys, much love, your boy, Pad Chennington. Keep it real.